welcome to 30, Flirty, and Trying. This is Channing.
I'm Mari, and welcome to Tinysode 9, Feeling Fine. You know I like a good rhyme.
Yes. Sorry last week's Tinysode was so short, you guys. We were having some technical difficulties, aka Boo deleted our recording that we did that was wonderful.
Yeah,
And yeah.
it was a tiny sode of the tiny sode.
Yeah, the teensiest, tiniest sode.
It was a wee little sode. But it was cool because you got to hear some extra ghost stories, which we really wanted to share with you anyway. So it all worked out. But we're back this week for Tinysode number 9, Feeling Fine. So should we explain a little bit why we're doing another Tinysode?
I think that you should.
I should. Okay. So basically, Channing texted me and was like, I'm about to Marie Kondo this shit. Can't wait. And I was like, oh, about that. So I've been so busy. So many things have come up. And then I had my schedule changed. And so I decided to travel to Connecticut today, which is our normal recording day, to see my amazing husband in the opening night of his musical that he's doing out here. And so there was just no way I could condo my house. So
Condo your condo.
I couldn't condo my condo. So anyway, so we decided to postpone, and Channing is amazing and is such a supportive best friend and was like, hey, let's do a Tinysode. So here we are, Tinysode 9.
Yeah, that's what these are made for, is to give us some grace. So
Absolutely, girl. And thank you so much for just like being, you know what? Thank you for being you. Thank you for being my best friend. And thank you for being my podcast partner. And just
thank
such
you
a delight.
for being all of those things.
You're welcome. And basically this episode is just my declaration of love for you.
But also that actually raises something that I kind of wanted to talk about another time. So I know you have something that you want to talk about, so we don't have to talk about this very long, but I just want to just make a quick comment on it.
Yeah, I would love to hear what is your comment?
Cool. No, it's just about knowing that people listen to this podcast and the experience of having people that I know listen to the podcast, because I think of myself as probably pretty hard to get to know in real life, IRL.
Yeah.
With people who I don't know, because I'm kind of shy and I tend to be pretty boundaried and I don't know. But with you, you're my best friend. We've known each other for 17, 18 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Right. I am most myself with you.
Same.
And so it's yeah, so it's these people who don't know me very well are getting this glimpse into really who I am, and this very exposed part of me. And so It's interesting. I get excited when people say they're going to listen to it, but I'm also oh God, you're going to know me.
Yes.
My introvert, antisocial person is ah.
Yeah,
but maybe good. Maybe I shouldn't be so closed off.
I feel the same. Okay, I'm an extrovert and I'm a pretty open book. You know that. And even I feel exposed. I'm oh my God, the inner workings of my soul. And
yeah.
But I'm happy though to share it with everyone, even if it feels a little scary at times.
Right. I think it's active work not to cringe when people say that they're going to listen to the podcast.
Yes, it does.
And to be encouraging, because I do want people to listen to it. My first reaction is hide.
Yeah, right. It's we're really proud of this thing, but we're also oh my God, you're seeing the barest of my, I'm naked. You're seeing my naked soul.
Yes. I mean, is that what it is to be an artist?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Problem solved.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah, girl, I feel the same way. And it's really cool while simultaneously being really scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all that to say, thank you for creating a safe space in our relationship for me to just be so open. That's such a blessing.
Thank you for doing the same thing. It is the biggest blessing. I always feel like no matter when we talk, I always just feel rejuvenated.
Me
Even
too.
if it's like a tough conversation, like if we're going through some shit, like I still feel rejuvenated after talking to you. And I don't, that's, that's a really special bond and a special place to be in a relationship. So I
It
appreciate you.
is.
You know what, guys?
Thank you for bringing this
Actually, we're not
on.
going to talk about anything except for how much we
Yes.
love each other.
Okay.
You're the best. Also, you guys, I just want to say something really quickly. It's really important. Channing got this amazing haircut and she looks so good that I literally posted like 30 fire emojis on her Instagram page. So you guys should all go do that too. Okay, so to be real though, are you drinking anything right now? I'm drinking water.
I'm just drinking apricot LaCroix. It's
That's
the middle of the day, my friends.
delicious. It is the
Yeah,
middle of
it
the
is.
day. Yes, and you're about to go to class. And
Yeah,
I am in
trying to be
Connecticut. I'm
responsible.
about to take a nap. And also there's like no alcohol in Tori's room here. So
Oh, sad day.
yeah, but I just had a cold brew. So I feel like kind of the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
actually
good.
the opposite thing. So I had something that I wanted to talk about today because it's
Yeah.
been kind of coming up for me a little bit. And yeah, okay. So backstory, which I already gave you a little bit of, but obviously our listeners need to hear it.
Right.
So, okay. So the other day, I had like basically an impromptu reunion with 3 of my former college classmates. And I was in a performing arts program in college. So they were all, performing arts. I was going to call them colleagues. No, they were all, now they are, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were all my classmates in our performing arts program. And I hadn't seen any of them in between 8 and 9 years. And it was like a chance reunion. So I'm going to get meta for a second. Okay. So, my one friend was doing a staged reading of a musical that he wrote. He is an amazing, composer, pianist, also singer and actor. He's pretty awesome. And so I got a Facebook message from him. Okay. And saying like, hey, like, I know you're, local, like if you want to come, like the reading is free. And so I've been trying lately to say yes more to things that I find interesting and want to do, even if it like might be a little bit inconvenient. I've just been trying to say yes more.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Little
And
tiny
so
try.
exactly. Yes. So on a whim, I went, right? Didn't know if anybody else was going to be there. Didn't know anything. So then I get there, I look over and it was one of my other friends from college. Then we go to the after like little reception and it was one of my other friends from college. And I was like, oh my God.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was like a reunion. Now here's the meta part. Okay. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The musical was about a reunion.
Dun, dun, dun.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
and
that's
like
pretty weird.
all of the drama involved of like, cause they were all like interpersonal relationships and all this stuff. So
Right.
obviously there wasn't really that going on in our reunion.
Right.
But anyway, so one of the things that I think a lot of performers fall into, and like I said, as well as probably in every profession you do this, is you immediately feel like you're not worthy if you don't have your next project to talk about or your current project or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And this goes directly into the comparison thing.
Yeah.
And I've said this before and I did not come up with this. I researched it just like in preparation for this. So comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm.
And I fully believe that. And that was actually said by Teddy Roosevelt. Like, wow, way to be like really like foreseeing. Like,
Yeah.
good job, bro.
Right.
Yeah. And so,
Or maybe it was just as big of an issue that back then too,
it's probably always an issue. I just think like we have it on like steroids because of social media.
Yes,
That's
for sure.
like what social media is for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so immediately I became anxious. And I felt like I had to, it was almost like my body wanted to fall back into the old habit of having to do that rather than
having
just
to compare.
Yeah, and having to present myself in a certain way rather than being
Right.
my authentic self and just
Right,
enjoying the
right.
moment. And
Yeah.
so I am proud of myself for actively fighting against that anxiety, but it was still there. And then it kind of lingered a little bit after with the comparison. And even though I knew in my brain that comparison was not going to help, it was still there. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's awesome that you were like actively challenging it because I know that like for myself, I can sometimes really let it win and let it
Hmm.
like take over. Just kind of be fuel for the shame monster.
Yes. Oh my God.
Um,
It's like you become possessed.
yeah, yeah. And so like yeah, even in like active combat of that thing, of that shame thing, like it's still gonna cause, you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily going to be, it's sort of like a muscle, right? Like the more you do it, the more you do like engage in that battle, the easier and more natural it becomes over time.
Yes.
But like I am so, like myself am so early in that battle. Like I've only just started doing that work like probably in the last like year.
Yeah.
And so I'm always comparing myself to other people. It sucks, you know?
Yeah. So you said that you've been dealing with this a little bit too. Do you want to like share an example or just kind of want to like share your emotions and how you've been feeling about it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, what was coming up for me when you mentioned comparison before we started recording was actually more like physical. Like I definitely do experience the comparison professionally
Sure.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh but I've been experiencing it a little bit in terms of like body image lately because
That's
we
very
have
real. I've been
yeah.
there too. Yep.
Yeah, and like I'm such a feminist and like cognitively like I believe all of these things about the way that I should feel about my body and how I like should like view it as a partnership between myself and my body to get me to live a long and healthy life, not for my body to be the object of other people's like approval or dissent.
Sure.
But and yet, like I
Yep.
know all these things, like you were
Yep.
saying, I know all these things. I know that this is how we should think about things, and yet it still causes a stirring of my like emotional being and like confidence
Absolutely.
because
Yes.
yeah, because like we have this girls trip coming up and like that's what I keep coming back to is like I need to lose weight for the girls trip. I need to like look like fit into this for the girls trip, like blah 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 blah. And like these are my best friends, you know? Like this shouldn't it shouldn't be coming up. So I'm in the process of trying to figure out how to actively combat that
Yeah.
while like identifying like the reason that my body has changed while in grad school is because I'm sitting a lot because I'm busy, but I also like haven't made time for working out. So
Mm-hmm.
like instead of viewing it as like a shamey way, what I'm trying to do now is like identify what my body's trying to tell me. Like it's looking different right now because I haven't been exercising. And like when I do exercise, I'm like way more tired. You know what I mean? Like starting point is way back. So I'd like to start getting into it now that I'm going to start having more free time.
Sure. So
You know what I mean? Like
y-
just changing the conversation with myself.
yeah, like you like actively identified like, okay, this is the root thing.
Right.
And now let's kind of shift it into something that you can do instead of going down the shame monster spiral.
Well, also something that like benefits me as a person who's in collaboration with my body and in like respectful communication with my
Yeah.
body and not someone who's like trying to present myself and like look a certain way as like a physical object. You know what I mean?
This is the, I'm sure men go through this too, but this is a woman's constant struggle. And I believe that it probably continues throughout life because
Yeah.
women's bodies change,
Yeah.
life changes. And, even if you know all the things, and even if your muscle is really good at this, like
Hmm.
at not, going down the shame spiral, uh,
Yeah.
I still think that it'll probably come up throughout our lives. Um, so one of the things that I think is probably part of it is that we know that for the girls trip, which is going to be so fun. I'm so excited. Oh my God.
So fun. So excited.
But one of the things that comes up is that like, we know that we're going to take pictures.
Right.
And then those pictures are probably going to get posted.
Like
and then,
in bathing suits together as a group. Yeah. Like those are the pictures that are like ringing in my mind. I'm like, oh
absolutely.
God.
And then that causes the immediate like anxiety about, you know, body image. And so girl, yes, this is oh my God, universal. So do you remember reading Dietland?
I didn't finish it, but yes, I do remember reading it.
Okay. It not only that book, but also Hunger by Roxane Gay.
Oh, yeah.
You read that one, yes?
Yeah, a long time ago I did.
Okay, so both of those really, really helped me to reframe the way I look at diet culture.
Right.
And the way I think about losing weight and how it's almost like, it's like what you were saying. It's like, it's trying to kind of like chain women up.
Right, right.
And I love that you said that you were going to reframe it as working in collaboration with your body to be as healthy and as happy as you can possibly be, rather than I have to lose weight for this thing because otherwise I won't look good.
Right.
And that's what women go through on a daily basis because we are constantly like, oh my God, it's just constantly ingrained in us. No matter how feminist we've become, it's still constantly there. I mean, every woman you know, I think probably has been on a diet at some point.
Yeah.
And really?
It's so unhealthy.
Why? Like they've even proven that like dieting like that, like, you know, like intense dieting, like obviously if you change your diet to like a healthy lifestyle diet, like that's different.
Exactly.
But like, you know, like that extreme like weight loss dieting or whatever, like they actually say that over time that's actually slows down your metabolism and makes it harder for you to lose weight.
Yeah, and it makes your organs function less properly.
Yes. Instead of, you know, teaching girls and women to fuel their body with healthy foods that will keep them not only full, but like healthy and happy and feeling good.
Well, it also like changes even the perception of the word health for women. Like health means skinny, usually. Like if in the social, like, yeah, we always use this word zeitgeist, but it just does. It's
a podcasting word and we have to use it.
It's a good word. I like it.
You know what? If you don't use the word zeitgeist on your show, at least, done. You're done. You're done, Zoe. Get out of here.
But like the word health has totally lost its meaning to become like health means that you align, like health is like the degree to which you align with this certain like Victoria's Secret model image, rather than like your understanding of your body and its needs and its inner workings and its topography. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, I think
Well, I mean, I didn't know that we were going to get to this subject, but I'm so glad that we did because it's I just think it's really important. Bathing suit season is here.
Right.
I think a lot of women feel pressure, especially over the summer. And it's like, you know what? Like, I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I do know that it would be really helpful for us to change the conversation to, instead of being like, I have to fit this image, to being like, I want to just be the healthiest me.
Right. Absolutely. And you know who does have the answer?
Who?
Jessamine Stanley. If you guys listen,
yeah, she does.
Yes. If any of this is resonating with you, I want you to go to Unladylike. It's another podcast. And they have a pep talk with Jessamine Stanley for bathing suit season. And I cried. It's the best thing I've heard. So
I also cried.
Right.
I was so inspired. We'll put it in the show notes. Like, I don't know if we can link to it, but we'll put it in the show notes so you can try to find it.
Figure it out. Yeah, I'll figure it out. But another thing that I wanted to just like bring up also that happens with me with like the comparison thing, getting back to like that picture of all of us in bathing suits, which we know
Sure.
is going to happen,
Yeah.
is I have this inaccurate assumption that people's eyes are trained onto my quote unquote flaws. That when someone else looks at the picture, that they're going to immediately look straight at the areas that I think are problem areas because I hyper focus on them, so everyone else must.
Oh,
But that
yeah, that's how the brain works.
Right, but that assumption is entirely incorrect.
Yeah.
And like old thinking, like that's some puberty shit. Like I'm done with that. I'm 30 now. Like fuck that. Time to let that shit go. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed. I love that sentiment. Fuck that. We're 30. Time to let that puberty shit go. Agreed.
Yeah.
And also, we should make a shirt. We should make shirts for the trip that say that.
Yes.
Fuck that. We're 30 and we're done with that puberty bullshit. Everyone's gonna be like, what? Anyway, but
these are really aggressive shirts. You guys are on a 30 girls trip? Like, okay.
we're on a journey of self-discovery, okay?
So fuck you.
You either get on this journey train or you get off. We're leaving the station. Choo-choo. Anyway, okay, wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this has been a very aggressive episode.
It is.
No, what I was going to say is I actually have an example of that. So, okay. So, sometimes like I'll take like selfies if I'm like really feeling myself.
Right.
And obviously as we do. And, you know, like to send a Tori or to like, you know, post or whatever. And, oftentimes I will be like, immediately I will be like, ew, gross, hate,
Right.
blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Okay. But I'll like save them. Okay.
Yes.
3 days later, I'll go back and I'll be like, oh my God, what was I thinking? That's a beautiful picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I will
That's
look
so cute.
but in the moment, the first thing that I do is I'm like, nope, gross, terrible, because I immediately hyper focus on the flaws.
Right.
And then it's just interesting how like some perspective and some time away. And then I come back and I'm like, oh my God, that's a great photo.
That makes me so happy that you do that.
That's
That you go back to it.
Sure, but why couldn't I see that from the very beginning? It's the same picture. I would like to say a quote that I wrote down for this episode. And I feel like it kind of encapsulates everything that we've been talking about. Okay, so I wrote down this quote. And it says, the reason we struggle with insecurity is because we compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel.
That's so real.
I know. It was said by Steve Furtick. I don't know who that is. I don't know if he's a good dude, but I really like this quote. We talk about this all the time. That this is why it's so important to not only share your successes, but share your failures.
Right.
And the highlight reels are great. And of course you want to put that out into the world, but we all have the blooper reels too.
Right.
Yeah. Comparing your bloopers with the highlights, that's not even it's not fair. It's apples to oranges.
Well, that's exactly what social media does. We post our highlight reels and then we compare ourselves to other people, you know, like.
Absolutely. When really it's just supposed to be like us, like connecting with other human beings.
Yeah.
But that's not what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not at all. It's taken on a whole ugly side for sure.
Yeah.
But
Can
I
you
think
share?
it can still have the beautiful side.
I think so too. I agree with you completely. Yes. Share. What please share.
I just wanted to share another quote. The quote is, all judgment is violence. Yeah. I don't know who said it, but like that really like stuck with me because it's like we have these they feel like automatic violent tendencies, but I don't believe that they are. Like I don't think that you're born judging either yourself or others. I think that's learned behavior.
So if we can completely agree.
Behaviors of violence, we can just be a more nonviolent society.
Yes, we can. Yes, absolutely. And we'll, not only will we be kinder to ourselves, but we'll be kinder to other people. Yeah. Okay. So, can I share one more quote?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready? Okay. Because I wanted to include a quote of a woman. That's why. The other two were men. And men are great, but women.
I don't know who the other one was, but I did.
Exactly.
No clue.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So just a very wise person. All right. Don't let anyone rob you of your imagination, your creativity, or your curiosity. It's your place in the world. It's your life. Go on and do all you can with it and make it the life you want to live. And that was Mae Jemison, who was the first African-American woman astronaut in space.
That was queen.
Way to go, Mae Jemison. And also, like, yes. And this directly links with what you're saying because it's, I don't think people are actively trying to rob you of your imagination. I think when we compare ourselves to other people, we are allowing the robbing to occur.
Right. Whether that be in like a professional kind of lens, like you were saying, or physical, or like whatever other realm.
Relational, relationships.
Oh, yeah, relationships.
Mental.
Sure.
I mean, there's so many other.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever arena you can be as a human, you are probably tend to compare yourself to other people, like in all of these arenas. Anyways, like, yeah, like it steals your ability to cultivate the life that you want and to be creative for your own future and your own, like, I don't know, manifestation of your desires.
Yes.
The end.
Yeah.
Hey, if you were listening to this and like having your own internal process of like, damn, that relates, like I have felt this way before, we would love to hear that from you. So send us a quick voice memo of just what your thoughts were while listening to this, what rang true for you, and permission whether or not we can use it on an episode. That would be great. We would appreciate that so much. We will also take traditional like emails and private messages and things like that. But I know voice memos, like while you're listening to something, can be really easy and accessible. So we totally accept that as well.
Yeah, we would love that. So guys, come along for the Tried and Marie Kondo one part of your house, apartment, condo, wherever you live, tent, doesn't matter, van, Marie Kondo, some part of where you live, and come along for the Tried with us because that's what we're doing for next week.
Yay! Okay, bye!
Okay, bye!